A great desk won't make you productive if your mindset is a mess. So you need to learn and apply concepts like deep work, the Pareto principle, time blocking, and so much more. But here's the truth. Once you have the discipline, your environment is the other 50% of the battle. So my goal here is zero noise and maximum efficiency. Everything on this desk has a reason to be here. It's designed to help me crush my work as a creative lead so I can get back to what really matters. My family, my kids, and my friends. So let's dive into the 2026 Command Center. Now, believe it or not, this foundation is from IKEA, circa 2010. It was around $150 back then, and it's still standing. So you don't need to overspend on furniture to start. Although I'm actually thinking of getting a standing desk because I spend a lot of time at this desk. And the chair too. There's not a lot to complain about, and I also bought it at IKEA, and I'm really happy with it. But maybe because I'm getting old, I feel like I should start investing in ergonomics. So if there's something you recommend in this department, please let me know in the comments. Okay, now this is the piece of gear that connects everything together on this desk, the Wavelink Thunderbolt 5 docking station. And trust me, I did a lot of research, and I think this is the one that gets you the most value for your money. Because look, I'm not interested in having 20 ports I'll never touch. I want quality, speed, and reliability. This dock handles 120 gigs bandwidth, and it's the brain that keeps my 5K monitor and drives running at full throttle through a single cable. The build quality here is top tier. It has this super robust, high quality construction that feels incredibly premium on the desk. But it's not just about the looks, because I'm pushing 4K 10-bit footage all day. The cooling system is what keeps everything running at full performance. It's got an active cooling fan, a metal heatsink, and side vents, so it stays ice cool no matter how hard I'm pushing my Final Cut edits. I can't recommend it enough. Now let's talk about the one piece of gear that gets the most attention in this setup. I'm in Zoom and Google Meet calls every single day, and I kid you not, there isn't a single meeting where someone doesn't ask me, André, what camera are you using? It's following you. And that's the Obsbot Tiny 2 Lite. And for me, this isn't just a cool gadget. 90% of my meetings are digital, and I firmly believe that your digital first impression is your new handshake. And so I used to have a $3,000 mirrorless setup here. Was the image amazing? Yes, but it was a total anchor. It was fixed, it took up a lot of space, and I couldn't take it anywhere. The Tiny 2 Lite gives me that professional 4K look in a package that fits in the palm of my hand. And the real power here is the AI tracking. Whether I'm leaning back to think or standing up to write on a whiteboard during a brainstorming session, the gimbal follows me smoothly. It's not jerky. It feels like I have a dedicated cameraman. And the software is where it gets deep. It's extremely powerful and yet super easy to use. So intuitive that I didn't even need to read the instructions. You have gesture control, so I can zoom in with a simple hand movement or start tracking just by showing my palm. And this solves the problem of having to stop talking and fumbling for your mouse to adjust the image. You keep eye contact, you keep the flow of the conversation. Then we have the preset modes and desk mode. So if I'm sketching an idea on paper and need to show it quickly, the camera automatically tilts down to my desk. It solves that mess of having to grab your webcam and trying to point it at the paper. And for those who travel a lot like I do, the AI auto exposure is miles ahead of any built-in webcam. Whether you're in your office with controlled light or in a dark hotel room, you're going to look like a pro. And so that's why I replaced a $3,000 rig with a camera around $200, and I haven't looked back. And thankfully, Obsbot contacted me because they are having their spring sale with offers up to 16% off on their website. But for those who follow the channel, I've secured an extra 5% discount code. I'll leave the links in the description. If you use the code, I get a small percentage, which helps the channel tremendously at no extra cost to you. So thank you, and thank you Obsbot for making life easier for those of us who live in digital calls. Underneath it all is the heart of the system, the MacBook Pro M3 Max. Why do I use the Max? Because in my line of work, time is money, and I'm dealing with heavy 4K up to 8K video timelines and tight professional deadlines. So I need a machine that doesn't stutter and just delivers. It has a beautiful Liquid Retina XDR display, 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports, SD card reader. Well, it has everything I need to do my work really fast. I keep it on the 12 South CurveFlex stand next to my BenQ 5K monitor. And speaking of the BenQ, I've been using it for the last month. Actually, I made a video about it, you can watch it here, and I'm still very happy with this monitor. Now, this is not cheap, but it's also not the price of the Apple Studio Display XDR. So I think it's a good compromise between image quality and price. It has the MBook mode, which makes the colors look just like on my MacBook, plus a bunch of ports on the back and bottom, from Thunderbolt 4 and HDMI to DisplayPort and a few USB-C and A ports. This display is 5K with 218 pixels per inch and a 2001 high contrast ratio. So the image quality and color accuracy are really good. But let's talk about the tactile side of things. Underneath everything is this felt desk mat, which was really cheap. I bought it on Amazon. It adds a layer of texture and warmth to the setup, and honestly, it protects this old IKEA wood. On top of it, I have my Keychron K2HE. This is a Hall effect keyboard, which means I can customize the actuation points of the keys. It's incredibly fast, sounds great, and feels like a professional tool. Next to it is the Apple Magic Trackpad. And for me, macOS gestures are non-negotiable for speed, and nothing beats the precision of the original trackpad for flying through timelines. I'm actually thinking about buying the Logitech MX4 or 4S mouse because of the ergonomics, but still the Apple trackpad still is the fastest one I use. Now, when I need to log in for some deep work or jump into those digital calls, my AirPods Pro are always within reach. The noise cancellation is a lifesaver in a busy house. And the way they switch between my Mac and iPhone and iPad is just seamless. Now, for the work that isn't video editing, the meetings, the travel, the quick emails, I've actually made a big change. Well, at least for now. I've been using the new MacBook Air M5. And for a long time my iPad Pro was my go-to mobile device, but the M5 Air has effectively replaced it. It just has Lite, but having full macOS in a chassis this thin is a game changer. It's fast, silent, and does everything I need without the limitations of iPadOS. Not to mention the battery life, that is way longer than the iPad Pro. Okay, I do need to mention that I'm still using a lot my iPad because I write so much, I'm always taking so many notes that if I was to use paper, this room will be filled with paper everywhere. So yes, I use my iPad every single day, and I also use the MacBook Air, because macOS is, I think iPadOS is in a great place right now, but it still needs, at least to me, to evolve more. So yeah, just to let you know. So that's the setup, and it's a mix of old IKEA wood and cutting-edge 2026 tech. Everything is here to serve one purpose: getting the work done faster so I can go be a dad and a friend. So if you have any questions or suggestions, drop them in the comments, and don't forget to protect your time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.